You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
Naturally, have some pretty reliable sources on the inside in Tuscaloosa, and he had told people that he was unusually tired this year and that 14-hour days, which is about what he logs on a nightly basis, so they were just harder to recover from. At 72 years old, they just felt different than he did 10 years ago, which, by the way, is, I think, completely understandable, but you just never thought it was real. You never got the sense that he was going to be fulfilled doing anything other than the grind that is running a college football team. So I think the first initial reaction was shock.
That was Greg McElroy, who, of course, was the quarterback of Nick Saban's first championship team at Alabama. But one of the stars of Nick Saban's first national championship team, period, is the big Swagoo Marcus Spears, who's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Swagoo, always appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, my brother. You got to excuse me. I'm at home. My room is hollow, but I'm here, man. I'm doing great.
Hey, man, I don't care about your hollow room. It's fine. Hey, Marcus, I was on air yesterday when the news broke about Saban, and I did about an 8-minute celebratory dance around studio, so I got no voice, man. So between my voice and your hollow room, we're not exactly studio sound, but it's all good, man. We appreciate you. Hey, let me just start with the easiest one, man. What was your reaction when you saw the news yesterday afternoon?
Yeah, I'm not going to go with shock, man. Me knowing Coach Saban and kind of looking at his demeanor throughout the year, you could tell that fatigue was kind of setting in. And it's just something, dude, you got to realize, man, a lot of former players, we look at this dude as a superhero. So it's a different reaction. It's almost like, for real, Coach? Like, you tired of all of those fourth-quarter programs and – seeing the light on after a big win when we were at LSU, getting ready for the next game, not wasting any time, trying to figure out how many times Miss Terry had seen them throughout the week because he devoted his life to this game and being the best. It was just like, this don't feel right. And then as you reflect a little bit more, especially from my vantage point, man, just grateful, the gratitude, dude. And I've told the story before. I talked about it all day today on ESPN when he was recruiting me. He told me, don't make a 4-year decision, make a 40-year decision. And the fact that I'm still reaping the rewards of not only going to my hometown school, but playing for who I wouldn't even engage in an argument, is the greatest college football coach of all time. That's just a script that you don't think can be written. But, I was just grateful, man. So gratitude is probably the thing that I would associate with when I heard he was stepping away.
Marcus, do you think, that 03 team just got honored for its 20-year reunion this year. Do you think the day will come where Nick Saban is welcomed back and honored at LSU?
I think the day will come, and I think the day should be soon. For as much as these rivalries matter, and obviously LSU and Alabama turned into a thing itself, because of him going there, but also because we also represented well while he was at his tenure at Alabama. But we also have to recognize his enormous gift and the way that program shifted because he showed up for that 5 years, man. And I don't think it's something that you can – I wouldn't let the end or how you felt about him being at Alabama dismiss the trajectory that he set LSU on that we still have an opportunity to enjoy.
Yeah. In
2001, man, and I take a lot of credit along with my teammates in that recruiting class, as players, we felt the shift, right? And I know you remember, Matt, we signed most of the guys that were highly rated in the state of Louisiana.
Yep.
We signed guys like Michael Clayton and Marquise Hill and Chiron Carey that had cachet and that was going to attract other people. Andrew Whitworth, who I think is going to be a Hall of Famer in the NFL. The following year with Kyle Williams, Glenn Dorsey, and Tyson Jackson. And you see where I'm going here? A lot of guys in Louisiana were leaving the state. We were going to Florida schools. Miami was one of my top schools because we just did not think of LSU the way that people think of it now. And I think he changed that in 2001 when he told us, I'm putting a fence around the state of Louisiana, and I'm not letting you guys get out of here, but not only talking about it, showing it with his actions. And I don't know what it was, man. I'm going to be honest with you, man. The believability that we could accomplish something that hadn't been done in a long time just permeated throughout all of those conversations. And for myself in particular, when he was recruiting me, all I can remember was him saying, you're going to have to come on this team and earn a spot. And, you know, when you're the number one tight end in the country and everybody's been telling you how great you are, it's a sobering reality, but more importantly, it felt truthful and honest. And I think that's what the program was built on at that time. And, you know, the rest is history on what we accomplished and what we were able to do. But more importantly, man, you just needed a genuine dude that wanted to win, that was going to outwork everybody, and also build a rapport with his players that felt like family atmosphere while I could still be hard on you and tough and critical because I had an expectation. And that's what he was able to do. And, you know, myself along with a lot of other guys out of that class and classes after us, and even the class before us, we got our names on plaques in front of Tiger Stadium because we accomplished something great. And Nick Saban was the start of that, bro.
The great Marcus Spears is with us here. I got one more, Nick, and I do want to ask you about Bo Davis as well. You have such an interesting perspective because you were recruited by him, you played for him, you won with him. And then in your professional career now as an analyst, especially where you started with the SEC Network, you got to cover Nick at Alabama later in his career after he had won championships. That gap, Marcus, from when you played with him, or played for him, I should say, to when you covered him, that gap between, how did he change? What was the most notable difference from the guy you played for to the guy you covered?
Yeah, he realized that the athlete was changing and the mentality of the athlete was changing. And I'm not going to cast any aspersions on the younger generation. I'm not going to say that they needed to be coddled. They just needed more attention. And he knew he had to adjust from, you know, the way I do things or the way I did things, not only in recruiting but coaching, which I never capitulate on my foundation. I'm going to always have the way I go about my job and get guys prepared to play and the demand that I put on them. But the personality came out more because that's what was attractive to kids. And I think he evolved, realizing those moments. You know, there are the times which I felt a little shaded, but there are the times in Alabama where he would take the team to the lake house. I was like, damn, we ain't go to the lake house at LSU. But it was a different Nick Saban, right? I know, man. I used to tell him all the time, I never got on the boat and drove at the lake house, man. But yeah, I did fish at his house though, so I guess at that time that was as much as he would do. But nah, man, I think he evolved, and I think in order to be great or considered, you know, we throw that term is thrown around loosely, and you know me, man, that we have our correspondence on Twitter. You know, I don't take that lightly. When you calling somebody the GOAT or you saying somebody's great, I think accomplishments have to be a part of that, but it also has to be a tone setter, a trend setter, ahead of schedule, ahead of time. And I think he was able to evolve, man. And I think there is no more seminal moment than when I was at SEC Network covering Alabama and he hired Lane Kiffin. Because everything I knew about Nick Saban was the polar opposite of what I knew about Lane Kiffin. But he understood that football was going a certain way. And there were going to be times where I couldn't hang my hat on defense, which he had done for the majority of his career. Sometimes I'm going to have to score 40 to 50 points to win a game in college with the way it's going and the game is evolving. And when he did that and was able to go forward and win national championships and usher in a new kind of way that they played football at Alabama, that's when you realize he's not only evolved as a coach, but he's evolved as a person just enough to pay attention to the type of athlete that he's having to recruit now. And I think that's what kept him relevant. That's what kept him going. And I think it energized him as well to go as long as he did.
Hey, man, speaking of Twitter, you got the Marcus Spears shop linked on Twitter, and I went to go buy a hoodie that had the Swagoo the stare looking over the glasses, and it isn't there anymore, man. When you bringing that back?
Man, we got to bring it back, man. We had so my publicist. Funny story. My publicist Ashley Smith is an Alabama alum. Believe it or not, bro. We met at ESPN. It was not on purpose, but she is my ace. And we wanted to have better fabrics. We wanted to create a different look. So Stay tuned, man. I can't give it away, but it'll be some part of that back. So
all right, okay, good. I saw it. I went to go buy it and said the item was no longer available. I was like, come on, man. And
man, them things flew, bro. Them things flew out of the shop, bro. Like, it was so fast.
Hey, last thing, and I very much appreciate your time. I saw your tweet. And look, I mean, to say you were effusive with praise on Bo Davis is an understatement. So tell me why, man. Tell me, what is LSU getting and bringing Bo Davis back to LSU? Why are you so excited about this?
Yeah, everybody knows him as Bo Davis. I call him Bo Diddley. And it's because I have always thought the standard at LSU was for us to dominate the line of scrimmage. For as much as we've had great receivers, and now we have two Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks in Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels, we've had so many good skill players, but I've always thought, and if you talk to Andrew Whitworth and all of my guys, we always thought it started in the trenches. And that's how we got this program going, especially from a D-line perspective. And I just want us to get back to taking over games from that position. And Bo know what it looks like. He knows what type of defensive lineman can do that. He knows the athletes up front matter a big time when you start talking about winning in college football throughout the years. And, man, to be honest with you, coming off of us talking about Nick Saban in Alabama, that's where the mismatch has been throughout a long part of these years. Bo is going to bring back, I don't even want to say the old mentality, but he's going to bring back defensive line plays that when people sit in the greatest stadium in the country, that's going to take over games. And you'll be able to cheer for sacks and quarterback hits and sack fumbles and some defensive linemen getting their hands on the football and going to the end zone. That stuff is coming back because that's both Diddley's expectations. That's why I was so hyped about it, bro.
Hey, man, our friend Mike Detillier shared this stat for a lot of years when LSU was known as DBU. He said, everybody's got it wrong. LSU's D-line U because they had the longest streak in the country of having a defensive lineman drafted of any school in the country.
Hell yeah.
And it was one of the more underappreciated stats that I think we can all shine light on now. Swagoo, you're the best, man. I can't thank you enough for taking some time today, man. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you soon.
No doubt, my brother. You keep telling the truth down there in Louisiana and keep them folks on their toes, man.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.